Hi, folks. Leigh, Diffey and Calvin Fish here talking sports cars. Of course, we're in the days leading up to the famed 12 Hours of Sebring, round 2 of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. And we are joined by the drivers of the famed 01 Chip Ganassi Racing Cadillac, Scott Dixon, Kevin Magnussen, and Renger van der Zande. Renger, I want to start with you first, and we're going to try and put a positive on this. Thanks for giving us such a thrilling end to the Rolex 24. Unfortunately, it didn't work out the way that the three of you and the whole team wanted. But how much motivation and how much momentum and encouragement does that give you going into Sebring with how strong you were at the Rolex 24?
Yeah, I mean, it was a thrilling end for everyone. And it's one of those races where, you want to get back in the car the same day. And it's been a long wait for Sebring to get back in the car. We had a test there. I think it was just an amazing job by the team putting such a fast car on the track for Daytona after just a month or 1.5 months of building the car. They got the car brand new, or they rebuilt a used car. They put a setup on the car. We started testing and we were quick. So that was just an amazing effort by the team. I think that's why Ganassi is picked to run this car. And I think, all the drivers were up to speed. We were really working well together. I'm having an amazing time. And if you look at the thriller we had there at the end, we gave it all. The team kept throwing strategy at it. One after each other, and we're just in the lead, back to fourth, back to second, back to the lead, or close to the lead, I would say. And at the end, those kind of failures can happen, and it's part of what we do. You can be sour about it, but at the end of the day, we showed the real potential, and we should be very proud of what we did right there, and move to the next one, which is Sebring. So looking forward to get back in it.
Hey, Renger, how much did you enjoy that final stint there, and how much extra motivation was there chasing down that number 10 that you've driven for the last couple of years?
Yeah, you're not the first one who asks. It's for sure very motivating if you see the car in front of you. It's the number 10 car that you were racing the year before. On the other hand, it's a car in front of you. It doesn't matter who it is, you're gonna get it, and that's how we were racing it. But for sure, it was a bit of an emotional ride right there, which just makes it more fun and more thrilling to succeed. And we almost got there. I mean, it would be bad to say that we would have won it, because they won it, and they did a very good job. So congratulations to them. And but for sure, if I had the chance to win it, I would have taken it, and with a little bit of extra juice on top of it, I would say.
Kevin, for you, there's been a little bit made of it in the wake of the Rolex 24 as to how much you're enjoying this new team environment, your new teammates, and just the whole atmosphere. So, did you have fun?
I did. It was great. I mean, the Rolex is a race that I've always wanted to take part in, and it was great to do it the way we did it. Of course, as Renger said, we would have loved to win it. I think we had a good chance of doing that, but it was still great, and there's a long season ahead, and we've got a big race this weekend that we would like to win also. So that's really what I'm enjoying, is being able to just go at every race and actually try to win it, and have have that as a target. And I think, as I said, we can do that this weekend.
Kevin, how invigorating is that? I mean, you started off your career winning. You started off your Formula One career on the podium, and then it's been some lean years. How does that now affect your prep, your mental approaches? You come to a race weekend knowing that if you and the boys and the team do the job right, you can win races once again.
Yeah, it's great. That's what it's all about, really. That's that is really what we want to do as race drivers. I've been in Formula One for a few years now, and it's been fun, and the cars are great to drive, and I've been all around the world on all sorts of different tracks and had some great experiences. But I really miss the feeling of winning races and fighting for a championship, and fighting for pole positions and those things. It's what it's all about, and it's why we do it. To be a racing driver, you have to be competitive, and I certainly am, and I'm with a great team. that is able to win races. I've done it plenty of times before, and I'm sure we will have a great shot this weekend already.
Scott, there aren't too many race tracks that have defeated you or big events that have eluded you as far as victory, but this one has. How cool would it be if you guys can stand on the top of the podium this weekend?
Yeah, that's as you know, the other guys have spoken already. That's the main goal, and you know, I think we definitely showed as a group that we had some great speed at Daytona. This is, you know, definitely a very different circuit. It was nice to get some laps in and have a 2-day test before this event. I think with this new team and, you know, just trying to find where we need to be with this car, with it being so new has been very interesting, and it's kind of almost been nice to start from scratch in some ways too. To you know, Chip and his team and you know, everybody involved kind of put their own twist on it, and that's been you know, nice to be a part of that program from the get go. So yeah, it's definitely. We've come close a few times with the 12-hour. It was nice to actually get Daytona and Petite with Wayne Taylor last year. You know, they've definitely won some big races, and right now are the team to chase for the championship. So I'll try and stay out of trouble. I don't want to fall into a situation like I did, you know, last year with Sebring 12-hour with the 10 car in the championship in that situation. So I'll try and keep my nose clean, and hopefully we can be, you know, celebrating at the end of the race.
Scott, I think this is your 20th year with Chip's team. That's like half your life, mate. Do they still continue to surprise you in terms of how they can get this program together so late, be competitive straight away, and within an inch of really winning the race there at Daytona, and be strong based on the test results for this coming weekend?
Yeah, I guess in a lot of ways it's not surprising. You know, I think this program was pretty surprising, and just in the wake of, you know, adding a fourth IndyCar, adding the Extreme E program, and then adding, you know, this Cadillac program, you know, all of it happened within kind of a 2 or 3 month period, and this one being, you know, kind of the last. And I think, you know, the toughest portion, I think, of this transition, at least from my view, has been trying to find the personnel. You know, it's extremely tough, I think, in the racing industry at the moment to find you know, good people, because, you know, you know, there's so many teams at capacity right now, and the, you know, the fields are strong. So you know, it's been an interesting you know, timeline, I think, that everybody's had to work through, but, you know, no excuses, and everybody has put in so much effort. You know, they still are. You know, that this program is still very new, and even with, you know, the other programs at the workshop are, you know, there's people working extremely long hours right now getting ready for this season in some of the other categories, but not surprising that they were competitive. You know, there's definitely some other areas that we need to improve on, and we'll do with a little bit of time.
Kevin, this is something odd for you, something that you haven't experienced in a long time. You're gearing up to do your first 12 hours of Sebring, but Formula One has had its first preseason test. Was it kind of strange being on the outside looking in?
I mean, a little bit. It's been, I've been at preseason testing for last 7 years, but, you know, I'm also enjoying, you know, this, and then looking forward to this. So I'd rather be here, ready to fight for the win in Sebring. That's where my focus is, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I think you know, it's really exciting to be able to do that and try all these new things. You know, every race this year is going to be new for me. It's going to be new tracks. Of course, we've had some days of testing in Sebring, but it's a very new challenge, and it's like, you know, it's really like being a rookie again, and I'm having to learn very quickly every time I'm in the car. So I'm enjoying that challenge a lot, and looking forward to this race this weekend.
Kevin, give us your first impressions of the Sebring circuit. You've been used to running Formula One circuits that are very clean cut. You get to Sebring, it's got to be a bit of a shock initially, I would think.
It is. I mean, it's old school, and I've missed that quite a bit as well. You know, the Formula One tracks, that they're very impressive. They're big tracks, but, you know, some of them are a little boring and very flat, and very, you know, some of them don't have a lot of character. And I think, you know, the tracks over here, they all have a lot of character, and especially Sebring is one that really hasn't changed for ages. You know, it's like proper old school, and I'm enjoying that. I don't think there's any reason to shape off those bumps on the track. Formula One, they would go straight out there and shave off the bumps and make it smooth. I don't see any reason to just why not keep it completely old school and cool as it is.
Renger, anybody who's interested in sports car racing is so excited about this weekend. Our coverage on NBCSN, by the way, begins at 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. There'll be some hours on Track Pass, and then we finish up the final 3 hours on NBCSN as well. But fans are excited, not just because of the fact that it's Sebring, but Calvin and myself have called so many Rolex Daytonas, Rolex 24 at Daytonas. We don't want to admit how many, but we both came away from that race with the same opinion that it's one of, if not the best that we've seen. And the reason being is because it was such a race. 5 DPIs on the lead lap. Actually, 4 of the 5 classes had cars on the lead lap legitimately racing for the win. And that's what's got us so excited about this weekend and the championship on the whole. Can you tell us just how exciting, how invigorating that was to be in the middle of that 5-car, all of you on the same lap going for the big win overall?
I mean, you're summing it up really nicely, and that's exactly the feeling that I got. I get a little goosebumps when you talk about it, and but to be honest, already in the first hour, everybody was going flat out, and it was just 24 hours of racing on the edge with all the DPIs, and some people spinning off, touching each other, but everybody stayed in the lead laps. Everybody stayed in the last, at least 5 of them stayed for the last hour, and when the restart comes, it's going to be like a sprint challenge, and that's what it was. And then with a bit of strategy about it, some had a full tank, some had a half tank. We could throw it in the lead, we could throw it into P4, fight back to P2, close the gap to Albuquerque. It was a big show, I would say, and it's that's what IMSA has always been. It's and the same thing in Sebring. That's how I remember the car, racing the car. Like for example in LMPC. When I was doing those races, and with 1.5, 2 hours to go, you never know, is it going to be a fuel strategy race, or is it going to be a fight for position and trying to win it? So what we saw in Daytona is always the case in Sebring, and I think Sebring is one of those one-offs where I had laps, and I'm not very proud of it, but I had laps where I touched a Ferrari or an Aston Martin, another prototype, maybe another prototype all in one lap, just because you're trying to elbows out and move forward to the front. So it's a cool race. It's one of the best races on the calendar, the Sebring race, and for Kevin, the first time there in the night and all that is going to be exciting. I think it's really cool. So looking forward, and happy to go back.
Renger, I think one thing I'm really excited about this year is just the strength in the DPI field. I mean, Acura have proven now they can win the endurance races as well. Mazda won the 12-hour at the end of 2020. Cadillac is well proven. But when you look at the driver lineups, mate, that you're competing against, there are no weak links. The bar continues to get risen a little bit each year. So talk about fighting for a championship. We were in that battle last week or last race at Daytona. But now week in, week out, there's going to be no easy pickings, I feel.
Yeah, I feel the same. And I think, people like Scott joining this championship for the long races. But even like Indy 500 winners or ex-Formula 1 guys, they all come over to race in the championship, and it's exciting. It's very exciting, and I think these cars have been run for a few years now. So also the teams, they know how to set up the car. They know actually what the car needs. So that's why it's so competitive, and then you put some good drivers in, and you have a good show. So it's going to be exciting also getting new cars, but on the other hand, it's very cool to have these cars for another year or maybe next year again to race, where the teams know what the car needs, and we go racing with the best material that we have. So I think if you look at the BOP, it's always a big topic. It's so important in our class. So, if the BOP is right, everybody is very close, and it seems like after these few years of racing with these cars, we know how to put up the BOP, that the cars are very close. So that makes it exciting as well.
Hey, Scott, as you knew, Chip Ganassi Racing IndyCar teammate Jimmy Johnson been on the phone asking for some Sebring tips?
He actually had a really good test. I caught up with him right after the test because we had some media days with IndyCar. But he's starting to find his groove, man. The Barber test and the IndyCar went really well last week. So I don't know. Maybe we'll be racing, the yellow car at the end. But, yeah, he's doing a good job, man. He's doing a good job.
Scott, you have a lot of miles there, obviously, in the 12 hours, but particularly with the IndyCar testing. Talk about how this racetrack evolves through the day, from the morning to the afternoon, and obviously the finish at night. How do you set up the race car to try and achieve the optimum balance when it really counts?
Yeah, I think for most people, it's all about the last 2 or 3 stints, right? It's about getting the car fast at night. And I think, generally, that's been the case. I think, a lot of the time the third driver kind of gets lumped in at the heat of the day and just needs to try and, keep the car in one piece. But yeah, I think, it looks like we're going to have pretty big swings this weekend. I think the first down track's going to be in the 90s, maybe a high of, and pretty cool in the morning. So you'll definitely be chasing the setup, I think, throughout, and that may be, a defining moment through the race. And typically, I think it's pretty easy to make the mistakes and the afternoon hours between kind of 2 and 4-ish, maybe even a little bit earlier than that, that takes you out of the race. So we'll try and cover as much as we can. The test, obviously, I think for a lot of us a couple of weeks back was pretty cool and very ideal conditions. But you're definitely right. I think making sure that you chase the car and the setup through the race is going to be key. By the time you get to the last couple of hours.
Well, guys, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I know you're all very busy in the lead up to Sebring this weekend. And folks, a reminder, 10 a.m. Eastern on NBCSN this Saturday morning. Before we say farewell, Kevin, you said you really enjoyed being here. Where are you, by the way? You look like you're at a resort in Miami or something.
I'm not entirely sure where I am. I'm somewhere in Florida. I landed in Tampa yesterday and gonna drive down to Sebring.
All right. Yeah. Well, enjoy it. It looks beautiful. Thanks again for your time, guys, and all the best this weekend.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Motorsports fans, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe before you go for all the latest news and highlights across motorsports.